Hey, good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Brothers-in-law. We hope you all had a very fulfilling Thanksgiving, spending it with friends and family. We like to welcome you all back to our show. We got a good show tonight. But before we get into it, if you're new to our channel and you've never checked out the Brothers-in-law before, go ahead and hit that like, share, and subscribe button, the bottom right of your screen there. And a little bit about myself and Mike. Mike and I are both former law enforcement police officer. I was a Virginia State Trooper for 7 years, and Mike's a retired police officer out of Pleasanton, California, where he served for, like I said, for 26 years. Mike and I are also best friends. We're both from Canton, Ohio, and we're both prior military. I was 20 years in the United States Navy, and Mike did what do you say, 6 years, right, Mike, in the Army?
6 years in the Army. Yeah.
Years in the Army. So we bring our military and our police experience here to talk about policing in our communities and talk about police involved shootings and whether or not these incidents are what a reasonable officer would do, which leads me into our discussion tonight. And that's when is police questioning inappropriate? And what should you do? What should you do in those types of incidents where you feel like, hey, why are they asking me these questions? Should they be asking me these questions? And what can you do? And so Mike and I will get into those, answer those questions. We got this video set up here, and we'll get into it. So Mike, welcome to the show. Welcome back, bro.
Thanks, appreciate it. I see you, Goat. I see you, Stacy. I see you, Tone. I appreciate you guys joining us. But yeah, that's been some people might have that question is, we have that in our acronym CALM, which is the A, is answer questions. And I know we've explained it before what we mean by that. Hey, Mrs. Taylor, I know we've explained that before what we mean by that, but I think it's a good idea to just talk about it because it is your constitutional right not to answer any questions when you are contacted by police. We understand that. We're not telling you that you're going to be arrested if you don't answer any questions when you're on a simple traffic stop. We're not telling you that. We understand that and everything. Our goal when we have answer questions as the A in our acronym CALM, our goal is to make sure that don't be uncomfortable or afraid to conversate with the police officer that's stopping you on the traffic stop. There could be some very important questions that he or she might be asking you that they need to know for a variety of reasons. You don't have to. We're not robots. You know what I'm saying? Remember, I told you what we used to say on this show, Corey. When you do a traffic stop as police officers, it's almost like a mini investigation. We never do a traffic stop for, say, a stop sign violation, and all I'm doing is tunnel vision as an officer and just getting your license and your registration, writing your ticket, and moving on down to the next one. Officers don't behave like that, and we don't train to do traffic stops that way. We're human. We are trained to look for things as officers, look for criminal activity, look for signs of a crime that's being committed. We do that on every traffic stop. Just like they always say, Corey, don't assume that the soccer mom ain't got nothing illegal in her car versus the dude that, that's right. The construction worker or something, look like he might be up to no good.
Right.
We use our instincts, our training, experience, all those things are going into a traffic stop. So we don't just have tunnel vision and just focus on, I stopped you for this reason. Let me go ahead and give you a ticket or a warning and let you go on down the road. While we're doing those things, we're looking to see if you have any contraband in the car in plain view. Do you have a valid license? Is your license suspended? We'll ask you those questions a lot. But we got a good video. We'll get more into detail about all that. And we got a good video that's going to be a basic scenario like that where, you know, this guy's being stopped and he's being questioned, and the questions we'll judge and we'll let you guys give your opinion on whether these questions were legitimate, whether this officer came across the right way or the wrong way. You know
right.
what I'm saying?
So, hey, so get your questions queued up once you watch this video, because I'm sure you'll definitely have some, like Mike said. So we'll go ahead and get into it. This it's an old video, but it never made the mainstream. In fact, one of our viewers sent us an email, sent this to us last week, I think via Messenger on Facebook, asking us, you know, to break this video down. But it actually occurred about almost 3 years ago, back in 2020, February 2020, in Sampson, North Carolina. Now, it was a traffic stop, and the driver, the citizen, was the reason for the traffic stop was that he was doing 65 miles per hour in a 70 mile per hour speed zone. So he was doing 5 below the speed limit, which was the reason for the traffic stop. All right. So that's where we'll pick up right there. Let me go ahead and cue it up. And again, you be the judge of, was the police officer's questioning inappropriate? And it's only about a 3.5 minute video. It's very short.
Deputy Snell with the Sampson County Sheriff's Office. You got your license and registration on you?
I do. Okay. All right, may I ask what the stop is for, sir?
I'll let you know as soon as you give me your ID. Who you work for there? Your shirt.
Delmar Oil Company.
Delmar Oil Company?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How long you been there?
May I ask why that is?
Well, I'm just talking, Jim. I see your shirt there. I'm just asking. Is it wrong to ask you questions about where you work?
Well, I'm just trying to figure out what that has to do with the stop.
Okay. All right. Well, if you don't want, just casual conversation, that's fine.
Since
I got you stopped there, you're driving 65 and speed limit 7. I'm just wondering what's wrong. I mean, are you okay?
Other than,
you okay? I mean, you ain't
traveling 5 miles below the speed limit.
Yes, sir. I'm just checking on you. That's all I'm doing. Okay.
Yes, sir.
You good?
I'm great.
Awesome.
How are you?
I'm doing better than I deserve. You got paperwork for the vehicle?
It's actually a rental car. The only paperwork that I have is via email.
It's what?
A rental car.
But what were you saying about something? You said something right after that.
The only paperwork they give you is via email.
Okay. You pull it up digitally?
I can.
Okay. How long you got it for?
Until I decide to take it back.
Oh, okay. They don't have like a scheduled day to return it?
They do, but unfortunately for my schedule right now, so I'm not able to.
You still live in Clayton?
I do.
Okay. What's Pungo Court off of?
It's off of 7. All right, there you go. It was due back yesterday at 2:30.
Okay. Where are you coming from now?
Where am I coming from?
Yes, sir.
Goldsboro.
Goldsboro. Is that where the office is?
I'm trying to understand what's the relation.
Do what?
I'm trying to understand the relation to the traffic stop.
Well, I'm just trying to figure out where you're coming from, where you're going, mess like that.
So I have to identify where I'm traveling to and from during the traffic
All right,
stop.
hang tight here just a minute, buddy.
I don't understand. Like, what's going on? Like, yes, sir.
Videos there. This here's a warning, okay? No court date, no fine, nothing like that. You can throw this paper away when you get to the house. Ain't nothing to really worry about, all right?
Okay, what was the warning for?
All right. Have a good day, all
What
right?
was the warning for, sir? He didn't even say what a warning been for, bro.
The warning is probably on that piece of paper that he put down.
I'm trying to understand what the warning is for.
It's for traveling under the speed limit, okay?
Well, how
You were
fast did
traveling,
you say?
what you say is kind of suspicious to travel under the speed limit when the speed limit is 70.
Well, from my perspective,
Sir,
I was traveling at 60, about
listen,
68.
I'm not going to argue. I got stuff to do, okay?
I
Have a good day.
did too when you stopped me, so I'm trying to understand. I'm trying
have a
to,
good
so I don't
morning.
make the same infraction. I'm trying to understand it.
Okay. Continue on with your day.
And there you have it, folks.
So viewers, let me make some comments. Let me hear what you got to say if we want to hear that.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about, you know, when is police questioning inappropriate? You know, I have mixed emotions now, knowing that in the state of North Carolina, you know, they don't have to show ID unless a crime is being committed. When in this case here, obviously, driving under the speed limit is an offense, traffic offense. My questions would be, one, what lane of travel was he traveling in? Now, if you're in the left lane of travel, which the left lane of travel is usually always designated for vehicles going, you know, just a little bit fast, but you all should be doing the speed limit. Typically, the faster vehicles stay in the left lane, slower vehicles stay in the right lane. That would be my question. If I was his field training officer, that's what would be on my radar. It's like, all right, well, why are we stopping him for 500? Now, I wouldn't stop nobody for 500, but however, here in the state of Virginia, if you're driving under the speed limit like that and you're impeding the flow of traffic, then yeah, I'm gonna stop you and I'm gonna give you a ticket, and then I can also give you a ticket for driving slow in the acceleration lane, the left lane as well. So you have to be cautious. That would be my question in this stop right here. Well, what lane of travel was he in? That way I could, all right, dude, you shouldn't even have stopped. And even if he was in the left lane, Mike, doing 5 miles an hour below the speed limit, I wouldn't have stopped him. Was he wrong for stopping him? No, maybe not in North Carolina. It seems though. I mean, it was. I don't know. I don't know all of North Carolina's traffic laws. I think just 500, Mike, is not enough for me to want to stop somebody. It's not suspicious.
No, I agree with you. I mean, 65 and a 70. I mean, hey Betsy, I see you on here. Appreciate you joining us.
Yeah, welcome.
You know, 65 and a 7. Okay, yeah. You're right. California, out here in California, if I'm gonna stop somebody for going under the speed limit, like you said, Corey, it would have to be so much so that you are actually creating a hazard being on the road by going so slow. Like if everybody's going 65, 70 miles an hour and you going 25 miles an hour, there might be something wrong there. Right. I'm probably going to stop you for that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But 65 and a 70, I got a problem with that. I wouldn't have stopped him for that. You know what I'm saying? Not to say that the stop was illegal. You know, in that state, they probably do have like you said, you got to check with the laws in your state. They probably do got a vehicle code violation where you must travel the speed limit to get to where you got to go to. I don't know. But the line of questioning is what I'm curious about. And you tell me what you think too, Corey. This line of questioning seemed almost like it was interrogative and not casual, if you will. You know, like I said before, we have A in our acronym CALM, answer questions. And again, I said this before, you don't have to answer any questions other than obviously the mandatory questions, the necessary questions to complete the traffic stop. Yes, I have my license, registration. There are questions that I would ask you as an officer, okay, on just the basic general traffic stop, and that I might just be trying to have a conversation with you to help put you at ease. because some people are really uptight or nervous or afraid that you got the big bad police officer pulling you over. Sometimes if I just have a casual conversation with you, that might help to put you at ease. Okay. And other than that, there could be other reasons why an officer would ask you questions on a stop. Maybe he or she is trying to investigate something specific, but they needed a reason to pull you over to do so. They found that reason and pulled you over. Now the investigation begins in alongside of what they pulled you over for, right? So if I pull you over for, let's say, going too slow, the first thing I'm going to explain to you is I pulled you over for this. You're going too slow, and this is why. That's the first conversation I'm gonna have with you, and then I might go into something extra. So, I think this officer got some communication skills that he need to work on, because he sounded too much interrogative. What you say, Corey?
Yeah, that's it. For me, it was a style of questioning. Every question he asked, I have asked, but it was the delivery of the questioning is what's the problem. You made it now, because a lot of times now understand this was a rental vehicle he was pulling. Well, the guy was driving, right? And a lot of times, Mike, and a lot of times
I know what you're getting ready to say.
These rental vehicles come up stolen or have been involved in other criminal activity,
especially on the highway, right?
Right, especially on the highway. So, asking random questions like that, and then I kind of fault the guy too, because what did he say? The officer asked him, how long you got the vehicle? Well, I whenever I want, for however long I want. Well, I was like, okay, well, could that have started a red flag for him? Right? What do you mean? You don't know when the car goes back. Who doesn't know when you rented it? But then, he explained to about the job. So, I just, for me, the biggest thing with this was just the delivery. I don't have a problem with the questions that he asked. It's just the delivery of the questions. Like you said, it made it feel like, and I probably, most people probably felt the same way. Like, man, why am I being interrogated? And the guy I seen, that this officer, to me, in my opinion, y'all let me know what you think, that he was kind of young, and I've seen his style of police technique. We had a young man like that in our department, but he was by the book. That's one thing I can say about this dude. He was a butthole, but he was by the book, and he would question this guy like this. Was he wrong? No, it's just his dude. And we would talk to him like, man, you can't talk to people like you have to be human too.
You ain't gonna get nothing out of that stop,
right?
If you talking too interrogative,
So my main thing when I conducted traffic stops, Mike, was to make sure I need you at ease. Because if I already had it in my mind that I was going to write you a summons for the violation, I need you to be calm. Because you're going to be mad when I come back up there with that, because my wife would tell, I have told her plenty of stories when people tell me thank you for giving them a ticket. and it sounds kind of funny when, when they say, hey, thanks, Troop. I was like, hey, no problem. They catch this and like, man, why am I thanking this officer for giving me a ticket? No, you're thanking me because the amount of respect that I showed you, right? You have to be human. And I think, some of these guys, folks, get these little high heads. Everybody's out here they want to establish as making. I get it. You're trying to make a name for yourself. But at the end of the day, you still have to understand it's all about delivery. It's all about tactics or being tactful in your delivery when you're talking to folks. because you don't want to come on, especially in today's time, Mike. You don't want, as an officer, to become an across confrontational, right?
Yeah, I think, and you had mentioned before. You had mentioned something about you trying to make a name for yourself. These young officers trying to make a name for themselves within the department. In my opinion, I think officers of today, especially, have to be careful with that, quote unquote, trying to make a name for yourself. The name you should be making for yourself is how well of a communicator you are, how you relate to the community that you work in, how you handle the people that you deal with. That above all comes first. It ain't all about being a hard ass. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
But in this situation, in this video, I think this officer was looking for something more. He stopped him for a reason, but he was looking for something more. Corey, you said it a bit ago, where it's quite common on the highway, people with rental cars use rental cars for a lot of criminal reasons, transporting drugs to and from, transporting weapons to and from. Criminals use rental cars quite often. You know what I'm saying? Because it's usually not rented in their name. Somebody else rents the car. They use the car for the criminal activity or whatever they're doing. The questions I might ask you is your license suspended? If you know your license is suspended and you driving, well, you can get your car towed, and that's definitely a ticket right there. You know what I'm saying? You might hear some common questions like, if you get pulled over, they'll ask you, do you know how fast you were going? You know what I'm saying? Now, for me, this ain't no secret with officers. I'm asking you that question because when you go to court and decide to fight it, I want to be able to say, well, I asked him how fast he was going, and he told me he was going 80 miles an hour or whatever it was. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like I'm getting you to say how fast you were going without having to say it myself, basically. That's a common question. They might ask you, where are you coming from or where you going? Now, for that kind of question, Corey, you tell me, why would an officer ask you where you coming from and where are you going?
For me, it's gonna help establish why you were speeding.
Okay.
Right. So? What's your reasoning? Okay, I stopped you going. For example, I stopped a doctor one time. I forget how fast she was going, and hey doc, where are you going in such a hurry? Because she identified herself that she was a ER doctor. Where are you going? Hey, I just got an emergency call for surgery, and I have to get to the hospital. Hey, no problem, doc. You good to go. Just you got to slow it down though for me just a little bit. Let him go. Another one, a guy was actually he was regular. He was almost doing 100 and a 60. And he was rushing to the hospital. Hey, well, where you coming from? Well, I'm leaving my house. Okay, where are you going? He said, I'm on my way to the hospital. My wife just called me. She's getting ready to deliver getting ready to have the baby. Oh, okay. What hospital are you going to? Right. So I want to know if you're lying to me. But that's why I'm asking you what hospital you're going to, because based on where you are, I know the closest hospitals, and I know if you're going to be BSing me or not. Right now, I know you're probably going to be up to something no good. So I may ask you, okay, where are you going? So I also observed that he had a hospital band on him. And it had the baby's name on everything like that. So I knew he was telling me the truth. Did I still write him a ticket? Absolutely, because you were 40 miles an hour. I can't let that go. And at the same time, I didn't want him to miss the birth of his child. I know how important that is. But however, I mean, we had a job to do. So that's why I would ask, hey, where are you coming from? Where are you going? Because a lot of times, Mike, in those simple questions like that, they start to trip up and they start to twist their story. And then you start probing a little more and you're finding out now you're up to no good. But, we just make it general conversation, though.
Yeah, I hear you. And we may be giving some secrets away, I guess, if you will, but that's some of the reasons why an officer might ask you questions like where you going or where you coming from. Or now in this one too, he asked him, well, where you work. Those are questions that it sounds to me like this officer might have been digging for something, which people got to understand is fine. That's fine.
It's fine. That's
what
work.
an officer is supposed to do. In other words, like I said before, Corey, when an officer makes a traffic stop, you are not supposed to have tunnel vision and just focus on, I stopped you for this reason. I'm going to get your license. I'm going to write your ticket. I'm going to let you go. That's not what we're supposed to do as officers. Right. And I think a lot of citizens don't realize that. Every traffic stop I do, I'm doing those basic things, license, insurance, registration, but I'm also wondering, could this person have warrants? Could this person be driving on a suspended license? I'm also visually looking inside your car. Do you have any contraband in plain view? Do you have anything illegal in the car I should know about? I might even ask you those questions. You know what I'm saying? Those are basic questions a lot of officers ask, and that's why. Because we are not just having tunnel vision and just sticking to the reason for stopping. Now, do you have to answer those questions? No, but what kind of demeanor do you want to have with an officer? Now, me and Corey, we're talking to you guys, our viewers, as if you are upstanding citizens. You ain't got nothing to hide. You're not criminals. You have no problems talking to police. That's the audience we're talking to here. If you're a criminal and you got something to hide, well, you're going to have a confrontational attitude with police, usually, because you have something to hide. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to want to answer questions because you don't want this officer to know anything more than what they need to know. But when you're pulled over, you got to just, in the upstanding citizen, what kind of contact you want to have? Well, how do you want to come across to this officer? If you don't want to answer questions, at least say something like, I appreciate the questioning, officer, but I'm kind of in a hurry right now. Can you give me your ticket? I'm fine with that. Give me your ticket or whatever you're going to do. I'll ask any questions that you need to know, but not necessarily that you want to know. I don't have time to conversate. There's nothing wrong with that. Anything wrong with that, Corey?
No, it doesn't run. In fact, I had folks say that to me before. Hey, can you just go ahead and give me the ticket? I'm kind of late. I'm in a rush. Hey, no problem. Sit tight. I'll be right back. And I stroke the summons out for you and send you on your way. So I like to know from our audience, what do you all feel are some inappropriate questions? Do you one, what do you feel are some inappropriate questions? And two, do you feel as though this officer's questioning was inappropriate, or do you feel as though it was just the delivery of it, how he came across? Let us know what you think in the comments below. We want to take a real quick second to welcome everybody to the show. Thank you all for joining us tonight. We're talking about, when is police questioning inappropriate? This incident occurred about 2 years ago in Sampson, North Carolina, involving a county deputy there who stopped a black man for driving 5 miles per hour below the posted speed limit. The posted speed limit was 70 and he was doing 65. The problem being is the questioning that the citizen received from the officer stroked a big, it didn't get national coverage, Mike, which is, I don't know if I should say I'm shocked that it didn't. I mean, there was really no confrontation of it. Now, what I will say at the end, the two things I would say at the end that I really had a problem with was how he gave the citizen the warning. He kind of had it folded up. He really didn't explain it. Or he did explain the warning. He said, it's not a ticket, it's just a warning. You can do whatever you want after I leave here. and just kind of had it folded up and just kind of just dropped it in the seat and walked away. I thought right there that was very unprofessional. I always used to train my guys, hey, you explain the ticket. Let them know what to do, how they need to take care of it, when they need to come to court, if they need to come to court. Explain it to them. Don't just leave them like that, because now he made it dangerous, because now you got the citizen to get out of his car and now he's out on the side of the road. Right now, you're back out on the side of the road. Now you're trying to have another discussion, and then you kind of just shoot a guy off. This ain't the place to have a discussion or whatever. Which is, he's right about that. We don't like trying to hold court on the side of the road when we're both outside the vehicles. So by him not explaining that warning properly, provoke the guy to get out of his car. Now you put that guy's life in danger. And what's the number one rule for all, or the number one responsibility for us, is officer safety, but we're also responsible for the safety of that individual. So that was my biggest problem right there, was the ending of it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. I think this officer's tact was a little too, like we said, a little too interrogative. It didn't. I don't see how it would have put this driver at ease. So in other words, I can understand this driver's reaction to what this officer was asking him. If this officer would have asked him or did his quote unquote investigation in a more of a calm way, or more of a less interrogative type of style, maybe it wouldn't have went over so bad. And Betsy, you're right. Now, if the rental car was overdue, yeah, that could be something to continue asking him questions. I think, like I said, above all, I think this officer was ultimately looking for something else than just, I stopped you for this reason. He, like you said, people do crimes all the time with rental cars and stuff like that. So if I'm an officer that's starting my shift and the area that I work is known for having people with rental cars traveling on a highway where, they get stopped with guns and drugs all the time, things like that, you already know that ahead of your shift. You know what work in your particular area, what kind of crimes you tend to encounter in that area. So yeah, I might be finding cars that look like rental cars or whatever. Sometimes you don't even know if they rental cars or not, but I'm going to make those stops, and I'm going to ask you some questions, because I am trying to find those cars that may be up to no good. That's what the officers are supposed to do. See, that's their job, looking for crime. Criminals aren't going to just come up to you and say, hey, I got a rental car and I got some guns and drugs in the back. So just so you know, they ain't going to do that. No, you got to go look for it.
I like to let the audience know too. A lot of officers have pet peeves, if you will. And Go said he thinks he might have been he could have done a better job. He thought the questioning seemed a little funny. I agree with you.
I agree with you.
But a lot of times, Mike, officers have pet peeves, right? We had guys that only wanted to write reckless driving summonses. So if you were, heck, you could have been doing 75, in a 65 posted speed mile zone. They weren't going to write you unless you were doing 80 over. Or I'm sorry, 20 over the posted speed limit. So and you had some guys, all they wanted to do was equipment violations, get the headlights out, taillights out, bald tires, cracked windshields, expired inspection stickers. You had guys that just wanted to do equipment stuff. This guy might have been his thing. It seemed like to me he might have liked to try to get stolen vehicles, because his questioning style was of, I want to see if this vehicle is stolen. I want to get a stolen vehicle. We had guys that just wanted to get drugs and guns. They just, heck, you could have been doing whatever, but as soon as they smell weed, they want to, hey, call another unit, want to do a search, blah, blah, blah. Like, dude, there's nothing there. Like, come on. Some officers just have pet peeves and they look for certain things and they want to key on certain things because this is what they want to try to do. My thing was drunk drivers. and I'm that's another story for another time.
That's what you like to do.
Um,
I see what you said. You're right. The officers,
yeah.
their officers like to do their own thing. And
which leads me to why, would I have stopped somebody like that? Yeah, but the guy I stopped, he was doing 25 miles per hour on a 60-mile-an-hour speed limit. It's big difference.
Big difference. That looks a lot different, right?
That's a lot more suspicious. Like, why are you going extreme? And you were in the left lane of travel, right? So yeah, I would have stopped. But this guy just totally came off wrong. The questions I think were fine. It's just the delivery of it, I think, is the problem.
Yeah, I agree. I think that he went, and like Goat was saying, asked about his job seemed a little funny. The only thing I'll say to that is the kinds of questions he was asking him. It may seem funny to someone who is being asked of that, who has no idea why they're being asked that. But we don't know what was in this officer's mind that he was looking for, that he felt some information like that would have been beneficial. Maybe he was suspicious of this guy from the first place, chose to stop him for a reason, okay, and was asking him questions to deny or confirm his suspicion. Maybe they had rental cars coming from a different direction all the time, and they're getting stopped with guns and drugs or contraband or whatever in the car. Maybe they're not clear on the beginning of this stop. We'll probably never know what was in this officer's mind that caused him to want to make this stop in the first place. Yeah, we know that there's a violation that he saw, but why this car? You know what I'm saying? We don't know that. But I agree with you, Goat. I think the way this officer came across was too interrogative, and his questions kind of it would have been in a way that would have caused any driver to say, why is that important? Yeah, I can see that. I can easily see that. You know what I'm saying? Which means that officer didn't do it the right way. And it sounds like at the end, Corey, when the driver got back out of the car and tried to flag him down, it was almost like this officer realized that there was nothing more here, and to hurry up and
get out of here.
Get out of it. He said, okay, I ain't got nothing else for you. I'm getting out of here. You going about your day. Because he realized it ain't nothing for him to investigate there anymore. He came up on an egg, and maybe let's go to the next one. You know what I'm saying? Now, one thing for sure, folks, and we want to say this, officers can't stop you and unnecessarily hold you up for just because. They have to be in the course of an investigation, in the course of writing a ticket, in the course of doing whatever they're doing specifically related to you in that stop. They can't just stop you and then hold you up for an hour for no reason. You see what I'm saying? They can't do that. They have other things that they got to do. So, and the big message that we wanted to give to you is, no, you don't have to answer questions, okay? But there's a way about going about doing that too. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to raise suspicion when you can just answer simple questions. You know what I'm saying? Don't be afraid. Officers are not robots. If you want a robot to just stop you, tell you why he stopped you, give you a ticket, and send you on your way, that's what you're going to get, robots. But cops are not robots. They're not supposed to be robots. We don't want our cops to be robots. We want them to be able to investigate and find crime, but do it in a tactful, controlled, and reasonable way. You see what I'm saying?
Right. So how do we handle something like this? What do you think? What are your options as a citizen when you feel the officers' questionings were inappropriate? Well, first thing you can do is always on that warning or on that ticket, if you were to got a ticket out of this, is the officer's name and badge number is going to be on there, and it should also be a number on there to the local precinct. We always put our office number on there as well, that you could call in and make a complaint. And that's what you would do. Hey, call them, talk to the supervisor, and explain your situation, date, time, place, we're at on the interstate, we're out on the highway or on the side roads in town. and voice your concern. You feel that it was not appropriate. You feel that it was not appropriate, and you want an explanation for it. That's the proper way of handling that. Now, the site that our viewer got this off of, I was reading some of the comments and things in there. People automatically too just wanted to make this a racial incident, and it wasn't there, in my humble opinion. What do you think, Mike?
I mean, I didn't see anything that I'm gonna jump towards say you stopped him because he was black. But that's because I have an idea of what an officer would be thinking when he's investigating something or doing a traffic stop and he's looking for something, right or wrong, whether citizens like that or not, that is what an officer is supposed to do. It's not just you're supposed to look for stuff. They're supposed to be suspicious of everybody. You know what I'm saying? Because they're always looking for something out of place. They're always looking for contraband, or this person nervous? Is this person conversating with me regularly? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. All those things are showing me signs or flags of whether or not I should continue to stay in contact with you, to continue this contact, or if I should just move on and let you go. We're always making that decision as officers when we do traffic stops like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Good point. So we'll go ahead and wrap this one up. We hope you enjoyed. We hope you got something. Now remember, you don't have to answer their questions. And again, if you find yourself in a situation like this, hold on, we got questions from Carol. She said, "Why do officers tap the back of the vehicle when approaching?" Oh, great question. The reason why they tap the back of the vehicle when they approach it is for identification. So, for example, an altercation happens and the driver of that vehicle hits the officer and flees the scene. Well, when forensic comes out and does their investigation, they're going to now I forgot the word. Now they're gonna
process that car,
process the car for prints to see, this officer did come in contact with this vehicle. So that's the reason why we walk up. We always put our prints on the vehicles. That's more of an officer safety type thing, if you will. But that's the reason behind that. That's a great question.
That's a good question. And also, Carol, when I as an officer, I never did that. I never
did that.
No, never did that. As a matter of fact, I can't even recall ever being trained to do that on the traffic stop. The only thing we taught on traffic stop that I remember is checking the trunk to make sure it wasn't locked or was locked or something. There wasn't someone in the trunk that was going to pop up on you. But I do understand that there are officers who were trained to do their fingerprint on there. I never did that. I mean,
that's crazy,
we
man.
The plate when we stopped, so we knew that license plate in the description of the vehicle, we knew that was associated with the call. So if something came out later on down the line, we can at least say, well, this is the license plate that we had pulled over. And this is what the license plate came back to, and that was the vehicle that I stopped. You know what I'm saying? So that's a good question, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but what if the plate was stolen? I mean, then that's
true. But that's why a lot of times we give it in addition to the plate, you make a note of what that plate came back to. You know what I'm saying? The description of the vehicle. So,
right.
Right. Well, now you got cameras, so all that stuff, the cameras prove that you were, stopping that particular vehicle in that particular person. Anyway, right. So you don't have that so much today with the use of body cameras and things like that. But I do understand that was the purpose of that before.
Yeah. So, hey, thank you again, everybody, for watching us tonight. Go ahead, before you leave, if you're watching us on YouTube, go ahead and hit that like button down there. If you have not subscribed to us, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you're watching us over on Facebook, hit that thumbs up and give us some hearts, give us some loves, and everybody share this out to one person, because I think it was very informative. A lot of good information was put out, and we just want to make everybody aware of what a reasonable officer should do in these types of situations, and share this information with your friends and family. So we'll be back next week. And if you have a video you like Mike and I to take a look at and see if it's what a reasonable officer should do, you feel that it wasn't right, hey, send it to us over on Facebook. We'll check it out, and we'll get it on the show like we did this week. So thank you all for watching us. We'll see y'all next week.
Yep.
Have a great evening. Thank you, everybody. Brenda, Carol, Go, Stacy, Mom, Brenda. Y'all have a great evening. Betsy. Hey, right. Thank you, Betsy. Good evening, y'all.